Ladies and gentlemen, Claire Drucker.
Hi everybody, thanks so much for coming. Thank you Timothy, thank you Brian, thank you Shauna, thank you all the people that make this happen. I appreciate being able to be up here. So I'm going to be reading mostly from this book that I published, The Life You Gave Me. If you can see, this is a photo of my mother when she was about 20, and then my grandmother and grandfather when they were in their 20s. And I really wanted to actually read newer poems, but when I went back and looked at these poems, which I haven't looked at in a while, I thought, wow, they're really incredibly relevant. So this book came about, it's about 7 years worth of work. I started putting this together after, sorry, but I cannot say his name, The Asshole, when The Asshole was elected in 2016. And they basically, this collection was sort of my grappling with upheaval, inner upheaval and outer upheaval, with the rise of authoritarianism, climate crisis for us in the form of fires, pandemic, and then for me, years of taking care of elderly parents, working and taking care of my daughter. So it was sort of, so that's the sort of the, you know, sort of the, what motivated me or how I grappled. And the first poem I want to read is called The New Season. In spring, carbon in the air dips her magenta blossoms like a fawn's tender lips. Thick white fists petal the sidewalk, and bees dusted with sunlight drink themselves drunk on the fragrance. How can pink apple petals hold the risk of a no future future? If only we would listen to the choral, to the language of fire and the crack of melting glaciers. Every note ever sung lives in them. Yet somehow we still trust that in autumn light will echo off crisp long days. The apple trees will lose her leaves as a woman drops eggs, and earthworms will eat up our soil while carbon continues to rise and naysayers fall from their pulpits. Redwoods working overtime to eat up this invisible gas trapped like greed's last meal. Some say nothing is the place we all began and to where we shall return. Some say this is the new earth breathing. This came out of, this very short poem came out of COVID lockdown, and when I read it again, I realized that what we're going through now in our culture is somewhat similar. It's called exile. In a land where no one speaks the same language, the body becomes an island, a solitary refuge we escape into, a soft nest of leaves and debris we can wrap around us and say, touch me with your fragile lips, build me a mountain, let me wake up tomorrow greater than I am today. So this poem was written in fall of 2020, and it's definitely a period of time that I actually wish I could sort of forget, and I think we all wish we could forget. So it was lockdown, COVID lockdown, and it was also fire, so we really were trapped in our houses. Oh joy. So in this poem, I'm really looking to my grandmother for some kind of solace and also the natural world. It's called Great Blue Heron. I should also say, just as a little context, that my grandmother, along with my mother and my uncle, who were very little, fled the Nazis in 1938. And my grandmother lost her husband, my grandfather, her mother, and her sister, and all her siblings were scattered around the world, and she came to New York City along with 2 small children. Great Blue Heron. Jogging the track in early morning hush, trucks in the distance ripping up concrete, I remember my grandmother, how she told of standing in the New York subway, two small sets of hands in her own, how she wanted to throw herself onto the tracks, but their faces peered up at her, those sad, empty mouths, and this stopped her. I wonder now how she made it through, how she forced herself to turn on the tap, scraping last night's dishes, how she sewed and sewed until her skin cracked. A great blue heron wings into the center of the wet field, its body an exclamation point, neck like a pencil turned toward the east. Its elegance unmoors me, and I turn back every few seconds to watch it glide without touching ground, like the stone statue game I used to play in the woods by the creek. The heron elongates, plumage a steely gray touched by the sky. How do we keep from throwing it away? How do we stand still and listen? Blue heron jabs her beak into the moist grass, throws back her serpentine neck, oblivious to my presence. She could be the center of everything, all of us rotating in concentric orbits, spinning with the shifting light, flailing our arms in a dance of form and shadow. Now the heron hears a noise, opens her wings, lifts the sun over my head. My feet dig into the soil, my voice in that other lifetime, so quiet, begging to be released. This is called The Pledge. And lately, I just want to say that when I travel, because I have family and friends on the East Coast, if I meet people and they don't know where I'm from, I say I'm from the country of California, because I feel like we live in a different country. Thank the goddess, right? The Pledge. I pledge allegiance to the hippies and artists in coastal California, the ones drawing murals, raising chickens, stargazing, to the rainbow flag dazzling with light, to the dykes, their soft breasts and tough biceps, wishing they could take a shot at as they march in peaceful demonstrations. I pledge allegiance to the earthworms and the bees, to the children in the schoolyard who have to worry for their lives, the ones who know what respect actually smells like. I pledge my heart to the earth-stained creases on a grandmother's brown face, her hands toughened like a saint. I pledge my spirit to the ones whose land, language, and dreams are stolen again and again, to the state of oneness with all living beings, of compassion and laughter, of everyone gets a living wage, clean water. I pledge myself to the republic of love and generosity for which it stands in a circle, holding each other up, giving thanks for being alive on this earth, heating up, spinning into oblivion, one nation under the Great Mother who should agree to disagree, but politely and with integrity. I pledge allegiance to the families struggling to pay rent, put food on the table, under a dog is my co-pilot banner. Wait, she left town, couldn't stand the racist policies. Now she's on Machu Picchu, praying for the vulnerable. Coast to coast, indivisible, especially now, a pledge for understanding. So if I looked into your eyes, you wouldn't ship me off to become straighter than a road in Nevada, but take me in your arms and say, I'm one too. With liberty and remembrance for all who fought, I pledge kindness. I pledge justice for history's transgressions. I pledge to stand against suffering with forgiveness under a big moon with freedom and goodness for all. Wouldn't that be great if that was our anthem? Yeah. So I'm actually going to use you as guinea pigs a little bit. This whole past year I've been working on a new book, and the book is a collection of prose poems, and they are in response to the hundreds of words that have been erased since the asshole took power in January of 2025. So, and these are words that have been erased from federal websites, grant proposals, school curricula, a whole slew of government memos, a whole bunch of different places. And it's an ABCDarian, so it starts with the A words and it goes all the way to the Z words. And I think right now, there are about 200 of them. So it's called A is for at risk. So I'm going to just read the word so it sort of sinks in that this is a word that's been scrubbed, and then I'll read the poem. Activist. Gravity purloins me. Climb pedestrian walkway, fog shrouded. Hang the letters, don't despair, resist. Nomenclature of dissent. People in metal boxes thrust their hearts into their hands, underside of shared veins. We are just the tip of dappled sunlight coalescing. I'm not going to read you all the A words because there's a lot. I'll read you about 5. Advocate. Good morning, so nice to see you. Let me get you some coffee. Sit right there. I'll make some phone calls for you. We should have some answers by the end of the day. Don't cry, honey. Everything will be okay. All inclusive. The house embraces her with turquoise arms. All the rebellious writers with clits. The books they've birthed, their thick and tiny spines. How they whisper, shout, stomp, caress the silence. The roof blossoms into honeysuckle, lavender, jasmine. Redwoods inch closer. Ecstasy enfolds her. Anti-racist. No jokes, no microaggressions, no best friends. Don't touch my hair. Don't evoke your Aunt Judy. Don't get teary. Don't tell me you understand. Don't say it. Don't say it. Don't. Just sit with me in silence. Let our bodies remember the cells we are made of. Affirming care. Tell me about hummingbirds, how they rarely rest, how they squeeze their beaks into the smallest openings, how you dream of those beating wings, of leaving your feet on the ground, flying into the scarlet salvia or the sun-kissed trumpet vine. Tell me how their vibration makes your mouth sing. This is the last one. It's called, the last word is allyship. San Francisco, 1987. Queerest place on earth. The red light, dude in a Stetson, white pickup truck sporting the Confederate flag, yelling, "Fucking dykes," while I hold my girlfriend's hand. All the straight ones behind me screaming at him as they walk down Van Ness from some movie I can't remember now. I wish I could thank them again. I wish we could sail around the world together, paint the stars purple, walk through every beautiful doorway. Good, you know, when you write things and you just sort of, you know, you're writing them in isolation in your house, and then you actually get to read them. You sort of get to hear how they float, you know, inside other people. And I'm just going to read you one more. I like to end with my mother's voice. So I took care of my mother and my stepfather for 10 years, and one of the ways that I was able to do that was that sometimes I would come home and I would write monologues in my mother's voice. This is called Release Me. She actually didn't have as strong an accent, but it's very comforting to do the accent, so I'm going to do the accent. She was obvious. She did have some New York accent. Release Me. Actually, never mind. I'm not going to do that one. I'm going to do this one. Erase that. The title is Mishigas. So for those of you who aren't Jewish, there's probably 2 of you out there. It means crazy in Yiddish. Mishigas. I don't need anyone else. Be shops, mops, does the laundry. We can take the shuttle to the podiatrist. If someone comes, they have to be over 40. I don't want anyone too young. What if they want my jewelry? Remember that girl with the jalopy? I don't want to drive around in a car I don't know. It might smell bad. You lost how much money? Oh, how could you give up your class? Oh, that was because of his stroke. See, it's all my husband's fault. Oh my God, that's a lot of money. Well, I know you can't just say give it back, but it was yours in the beginning, and they should know that. Can you maybe say it was a mistake? You don't need to come 2 times a week. I'd love to see you, but we can manage without your help. All we do is watch TV, eat some cottage cheese with peaches, read a little, fall asleep. You keep telling me you're tired, so rest a little. Don't keep running around. Oh, by the way, I need to go to the eye doctor. Can you make an appointment and take me? Also, the vacuum cleaner finally is kaput. I'd like you to drive me to see it so I can buy another one. Then I want you to pick up the mail. When I get my pension, you can deposit it and then write our rent check. You really ought to get more sleep. You've got those dark circles under your eyes and you're putting on weight. A mother sees everything. You should get a job that pays better than teaching. Like Diane's son. He's in construction.